Hey, what's up you filthy Wukong mains? We're back at it again, and today we're going to talk about the most recent drama around DE nerfing mods that haven't been released yet and a part of the community's reaction to it. So sit tight, put your seatbelts on, straighten your fedora, because you're not going to like this. However, as usual, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more shitty content surrounding Warframe and soon also Knockout City. That's right, your boy's gonna test the waters with other games. So watch me take other games apart and spread our beloved channel culture. Right, let's quickly walk over the changes first before we start bitching, because I want you guys to know what we're talking about before we commence the judgment of the millennia. Starting off at Arcanes, they added plus 60% holster speed to arcane dexterity for both primaries and secondaries. They also added the description for the 7.5% combo duration plus part of the arcane. Not much to complain here because it's an added bonus, so I mean, sure. Primary and secondary Merciless got its duration cut from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. It's a balance thing. I'm sure when we all get our hands on it they'll revert this change because it seems a bit unnecessary. Mods. Galvanized Scope, Aptitude, Acceleration, Savvy, Crosshairs and Shot got their mod capacity reduced from 14 to 12. That is a basic change and it works in our favor. Galvanized Chamber got its stack count increased from 4 to 5, meaning you can get a total of 150% multi-shot extra on kill for 20 seconds. The capacity was increased from 14 to 16. Galvanized Hell got its base multi-shot increased to 110% from 80%, and the same capacity increase as the previous mods. Same thing happened for Galvanized Diffusion. No major changes here, just some tweaks and balancing. The Acquisition. I agree with the drama surrounding this change. Arbitration is already kind of annoying and doesn't really get you proper teammates most of the time, or simply said, a lot of beginners play this mode. Even though I regard Steel Path as pretty much a wasteland, it would have made more sense to keep them there, as farming those would at least not be as excruciating a grind as arbitrations will be. The explanation that players hoped to acquire the mods prior to going on their Steel Path journey also doesn't help, because it really doesn't make any sense. I'd love to see this reverted, but don't see that coming anytime soon, since DE is rather stubborn when it comes to reverting changes like these. The cost per mod will be 20 Vitus Essence each, and DE will increase the drop rate from 3 to 6% once Sisters of Parvos is live from the arbitration drones. Lastly, beam weapon mod changes. Ruinous Extension and Sinister Reach can now be slotted in the Exilus slot. This is a little bit of an odd change in my opinion, because even though they are utility mods, they can still greatly increase your damage output. But it's a welcome change in my eyes, even if you have to unlock the Exilus slot first. It's a choice and has never really been a necessity, other than on some very specific builds. As you can see, these changes are more so tweaks and rebalances than actual hard nerfs. Now here is what I simply can't fucking understand. We, speaking as a collective of content creators who actually do discussion content, have dissed DE so hard on the fact that they tend to release things that have not been tested properly, or even when tested properly, the feedback it provided was completely ignored. Need I remind you of our past 3 actual events and their testing behavior? DE was notorious, and still is to a degree, for releasing unfinished, seemingly untested builds to the PC Tenno, for us to then mass test on a live build for the console Tennos. While you could agree, hey, you get the updates, skins, etc. earlier than the rest, be happy, they weren't always good, and more often than not, game-breaking bugs were revealed that should have never been in the game in the first place. And creators made sure DE knew about that, berating them, rightfully so in some cases, on their practices and communicating what most of their communities thought about it. To an extent, I agree. Releasing unfinished builds is the most annoying practice for a developer to subject their player base to. Having people test updates on live builds is a surefire way to get people to oppose you and leave the game, because they simply feel like they're lab rats. However, the current Warframe community couldn't be more of a divided bunch of entitled, crying children, where DE literally can't do anything right. Turn left or right, it doesn't matter anymore. Someone will get mad and start mauling over something as stupid as balancing and testing stuff before it gets released on a live build. The same people who would kick and scream because DE weren't testing are now going absolutely mental on the fact that they are testing and balancing the new stuff they intend to release. How big of a fucking crybaby are you to berate an action that can literally almost only benefit the players in the long run? That is a serious question, by the way. Sure, the proposed mods etc. don't change as much as we wanted to change, and they do not even touch the core issues of the game at the moment, but they do propose the start of a new era, a new chance, something that can be built upon, extended upon, etc. The quote-unquote nerfs are hardly something to get mad over, and there are some solid benefits to the changes as well, as mentioned earlier. I can't understand how you can have your head so far up your fucking ass that you can smell your own stinky breath. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those white knights or DE apologists who think they're doing everything right and can't hurt the game at all. No. I've made that abundantly clear in the past. I don't care if DE likes me or not. I don't care if any other creators like me or not. I'm simply creating dumb videos and voicing my opinion because I feel like it and have a different point of view most of the time, be that a good one or a dumb one. What some of you don't seem to understand though is that your black and white view of everything DE does is not helping the development of the game at all. Sure, it draws in an audience and people will agree with you, but your criticism in this area, in my opinion, can't be seen as constructive anymore. It feels like you actually just start dissing DE for the sake of dissing DE because it's a cool thing to do now. There's no objectivity anymore, and it just feels like you're being dishonest and playing a character. Another side of this is bringing the past into every single change that is happening in the present. It's simply bad taste to always compare current updates and actions to previous ones. A part of moving on and improvement is leaving the past behind to concentrate on what is in front of you, which is almost literally made impossible by people shoving the same regurgitated shit down the developer's throat that they have done for years now. How is Warframe supposed to move on if half of the online presence keeps yapping on how X update was better or X change was needed, blah blah blah? There are exceptions to this case, where a creator comes with solid facts that can still be applied to better the game and where you notice they want nothing but the best for the game. Those creators know who they are, mostly because they get ignored by DE in general. Some of you are starting to look like clowns who've been in the business too long and can't seem to change their profession, in turns getting mad at any and everything the developer's throwing out, and that's not okay. But alas, you don't have to listen to me, and frankly, I don't care if you agree with me. I feel like this is something that had to be said because it's been bugging me for quite a while now, and keeping this in makes me want to stop with everything I'm doing on this channel. DE will never start listening if all you do is kick and scream and moan about something as fucking stupid as actively balancing and testing things that are about to be released. Sure, there have been changes where I can understand the frustration, but keeping things constructive is the only way to ever get heard. We all know DE doesn't really care about smaller channels and will most likely not even acknowledge most of the hate that's been spewed right now. But I hope that we can at least change some of the online behavior for the better to improve the game we all love. That's the whole rant. If you feel offended by this or you feel like I'm personally targeting you, feel free to hit me up. But this is more of a general rant on behavior more so than a targeted video towards someone. Stay safe out there, Tenno. Later.